Hey, True Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. I've already done video posts on Game 1 and Game 2 of the NBA Finals showing how those games were rigged and scripted by the numbers. Prior to the finals beginning, before the playoffs began, I did a video showing why I thought the championship would be Golden State versus Cleveland based on the game that they met on February 26th. That game had all sorts of numerological giveaways foreshadowing the NBA Finals. Also, True Seeker, if you haven't seen already, I did a video post on the no-hitter from the same day as this game by the San Francisco Giants, the first no-hitter of the 2015 season, and I showed how rigged and fake that whole spectacle was. Anyway, let's move on to the score of this game, 96 Cleveland, Golden State 91. If you follow my work, you already know what's special about 96. The word Freemason equals 96. The religion Satanism equals 96. The word knowledge equals 96. If you saw the end of this game, Cleveland went up 96-91 with about 5 seconds left. Golden State tried to foul. The refs would not blow the whistle. The time expired. The announcer even made the point that he was surprised that a foul wasn't called. The reason a foul wasn't called is because they needed this exact score, Truth Seeker. This score means something to these people. Notice that 96 plus 91 sums to 187. In police code, 187 is a homicide. Notice that white police officer has a simple English gematria of 187, like homicide. This is interesting because right now in Cleveland, there are multiple stories about white police officers killing black people who are unarmed, from children to adults. And recall from history how central LeBron became in the Trayvon Martin shooting story. He started the hoodie movement, or I shouldn't say he started it, but he really helped build it. He was like an advertising campaign for that shooting hoax. Sports stars are owned and operated by the same gang that runs our media, that runs our life of distractions. And Cleveland right now is becoming a hotbed of attention. Not only does it have these shooting stories there, it has the Republican convention coming to town. And with regards to white police officers killing black people in Cleveland, let's go back to the story of Tamir Rice. A totally fake story, a totally bogus story. Anybody who watches the video has to be a moron to believe it. Police car drives right up to him, opens the door, shoots immediately. Looks so fake, looks so ridiculous, just like all these shooting videos. Anyway, the name Tamir Rice sums to 96 because, as always, the victims, the police officers, their names are equally coded. That shooting happened at 3:30 in the afternoon, a lot like 33. Cleveland equals 33. It also happened on the date 11/22. 11 plus 22 is 33. 11/22/14 sums to 47, just like Ohio. The first NBA championship was in the year 47. Also notice, True Seeker, that the JFK assassination was 11/22/63. 11 plus 22 is 33, plus 63 more is 96. Like I said, 96, a super important number, often coded in hoaxes, which even sports fit into. Pro sports are essentially a hoax. It's a bunch of sheep wasting their money, cheering for grown men cheering for grown men sitting on their ass. You know, some fucking loser had the audacity to write that I'm probably just some fat, pathetic loser, when first of all, my first 200 videos, you can see my face. I do it right in front of myself. But he said the only reason somebody'd want to dismiss pro sports is because they're a fat loser or something like that. Just like, listen to how these fucking retards think. What does watching pro sports have to do with being in shape? Most people who watch pro sports eat potato chips, drink beer, and get fat. There's nothing athletic or good for your body about watching pro sports. Just had to do that little rant because of the dipshit who made the last comment on my baseball no-hitter post. Anyway, True Seeker, there was something else I noticed from this game. Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Before the game began, LeBron talked to Jim Brown a lot, who was sitting on the sideline. If you don't know who Jim Brown is, he won the last pro sports championship for Cleveland back in '64 with the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk more about Jim Brown. He has some major connections to LeBron James, as it turns out. Also, True Seeker, in this game, it went to halftime with a score of 44 for Cleveland, 24 plus 20 is 44, to 37 for Golden State. Two numbers that have both been of a lot of significance this series. Again, it's the 44th year anniversary of Cleveland. King James, the nickname, sums to 44. In game one, he scored 44 points. And notice that in all three games so far, he scored 40 or more. 44, 40, and 40. Also, notice, True Seeker, that the date of this game where they scored 96 points was June 9th. If you write it 6/9 like we do in the United States, that syncs up with Cleveland Cavaliers, which has a Pythagorean gematria of 69. Or if, like in Europe, where they write the day first, 9/6, that's a lot like the score 96. So this score is saved for this specific date. And again, syncing up with Tamir Rice, the boy who was shot by a white police officer, and the sum of this game even connects to that. And TrueSeek, I'm telling you, this stuff's no mistake. Sports are syncing up with current events all the time. Right now in the NHL, we have Florida versus Chicago. I guarantee you that is a foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the presidential election. Jeb is from Florida, that's his state. Hillary Clinton is from Chicago. If you haven't seen my video post on how Bill Clinton's biological father was murdered on a business trip between Arkansas and Chicago on a date that syncs up with the name Clinton, please check that out. Way more fascinating, way more important than any of this sports stuff. True Seeker, the reason I got this up is because this is April 6th, the 96th day of the year, the date of the college championship. Remember, the college championship was 4/6. The NBA championship began 6/4. Reflections of each other. This is how the Zionist Jews run it. Everything's by the numbers. There's a reason the college championship was on April 6th, the 96th day, and the NBA finals began on June 4th, the 155th day. Remember, if you write out 155 and sum it with simple English gematria, it sums to 216. Cleveland's area code, 216. And also what's special about 216 is that it has a connection to 666. 6 times 6 is 36, times 6 more is 216, like the Cleveland area code, like the connection to the date the NBA Finals began, which is connected to the year 64 that Cleveland won its last championship. Anyway, on the 96th day, on the date of the college championship, there was one professional basketball game. This was it. Blazers Nets. New Jersey's the third state. Oregon's the 33rd state. So we had the 3-3-3 states. Third versus 33rd. And the 33rd lost, got martyred like Jesus at the age of 33 with a score of 96. And I'll also point out that Oregon is the only state that sums to 74, the 33rd state, just like the words Jesus and cross. Oregon is a reflection of Jesus, if you can believe it. That's how these Masons do it, Truth Seeker. That's how they've been doing it. All coding, all numbers, Truth Seeker. I saw this last night on ESPN. This was during a baseball game. You can see the baseball field back here, home run post. But during the game, they just started talking about LeBron James. They wanted to point out that LeBron James right now is way outplaying Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry's slumping. But notice LeBron's points per game right here, Truth Seeker. A lot of people wouldn't catch this. 41 points per game, averaging 47 minutes. Ohio's the only state that sums to 47. But anyway, the word king sums to 41. And LeBron, King James as he's called, king in simple English gematria, sums to 41. Be interesting to see what he finishes the finals with. Be interesting if he scored 41 points tonight in Game 4. In Pythagorean gematria, LeBron James sums to 42. He's currently on a 2-year, $42 million contract. NBA Finals, with the S exception, also has that 42 gematria. LeBron right now is trying to win his third NBA ring. His third championship ring. Again, they haven't won since 64. I just want to point out that his chief opponent on the opposite team, the man who won the MVP this year, Stephen Curry, his name has a gematria of 64. You know? Maybe the perfect opponent to win the first championship since 64 against. Also, Truth Seeker, LeBron James in simple English gematria sums to 114. Also in Ohio right now, the head of Congress is from there. His name's John Boehner, which sums to 114, just like LeBron James. He's the leader of the 114th Congress right now. 114th Congress. So remember that number 114 in the 1964 NFL championship where Jim Brown led Cleveland to the win. Jim Brown ran in that game 27 times for 114 yards. 114 yards, just like LeBron James, defeating the Baltimore Colts 27-0, and he had 27 carries. What else is trippy, Truth Seeker, is this date numerology sums to 122, just like the phrase Golden State. It's so weird, Truth Seeker. It blows my own mind. But notice that he ran for 114 yards. And you know what else is weird about this, Truth Seeker? Even before these NBA Finals began, I predicted that the Baltimore Colts are going to win this year's upcoming Super Bowl. If you're a sports bettor out there, I'm telling you, take that bet. The Colts are going to win this year's Super Bowl. The Indianapolis Colts, not the Baltimore Colts. The Indianapolis Colts will win this year's Super Bowl in San Francisco. Think about that. Browns are defeating the team from the Browns are defeating the team from the Bay Area right now. Later this year, the Super Bowl is going to be in the Bay Area, and the Colts are going to win it. Mark my words. I'm confident about that. I'm more confident about that than the Cavs winning the NBA Finals right now. It's in for the Colts. They're winning. Anyway, so we have this 114 connection for Jim Brown. LeBron James equals 114. Notice that Jim Brown in Pythagorean gematria sums to 41 as well, just like King. Jim Brown has a 41 connection. And before Game 3, LeBron was over there talking to Jim Brown. I also want to point out, Truth Seeker, that this will end a 51-year drought in Cleveland of no sports championships if they win. LeBron James, with the S exception, sums to 51. 51-year drought. The word conspiracy with Pythagorean gematria is 51. Freemason Pythagorean gematria is 42, S exception 51, and then with simple English gematria, again, 96. See how it all comes together, Truth Seeker? With regards to Jim Brown, notice that in college at Syracuse, he wore the number 44. In the NFL, they had him wear the number 32. And NFL has a simple English gematria of 32, Truth Seeker. Important number in the NFL. In Jewish gematria, NFL sums to 66. The first Super Bowl was in the year 66, the 47th year of the league. The first NBA Finals was in the year 47. So redundant, Truth Seeker. This drought here says 50 years since 64, but that's because this was from 2014. 51 years now. Also, here's one more trippy thing. During Game 3 at halftime, they did a big expose on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is in Cleveland. It does seem like a weird place for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to be in. Why Cleveland, right? Well, let me show you. And if some of you are probably thinking, well, because Drew Carey says Cleveland rocks. Well, there's a reason he says that. Because he's in the gang. Ohio has the same gematria as Rock. Cleveland has the same gematria as Rockstar. And where's that at? Look at their address, Truth Seeker. 44114. So this has the number 411 in it. 114, 44. It's just too much. There's obviously something greater about this number in Ohio. Because think about it. John Boehner, the leader of the 114th Congress, is from this state. There's some reason they're super fixed on this number in this state. But real quick, Ohio, simple English gematria, 47. Rock, simple English gematria, 47. Again, Ohio's the only state with a gematria of 47. Oregon's the only state with a gematria of 74. Think about Oregon and Ohio in this year's football championship that was essentially like the first playoff system. Once upon a time, it was Oregon and Ohio in the first college basketball championship. It's because 47 and 74 are so important. Anyway, Rockstar and Cleveland, both in Pythagorean gematria, sum to 33. So how about that? Why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is in Cleveland, Ohio. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Drew Carey, True Seeker, born May 23rd, 1958. That's a date with a 33 numerology. The short way 86, like symbol, triangle, pyramid. Something else, True Seeker. Something else. Got those pyramids. Did you notice how after Game 3, Dwayne Wade interviewed LeBron James? I mean, how stupid is the world of sports? His former teammate. You guys want to know how they keep a lid on the hoax that professional sports is? Look at what you watch on TV. Who are most people talking to you about these pro sports leagues? Yes, they're people who played in the game once upon a time. This is how you keep a lid on the hoax. You find the sellouts, the people who are willing to lie for money, and then you just use them to present the whole picture, as they do in our world. Too easy to see through. Look at this time on it. 6 minutes, 40 seconds. Again, NBA Finals began June 4th. Owner's name Daniel Gilbert, sums to 64. No sports championships in Cleveland since 64. So bad, True Seeker. And again, Cleveland right now is the only team with a Jew coach. Of course, the NBA is ran by Zionist Jews, these punks who are into these numbers, who are into fucking over everybody, rigging everything. You know? That's why we got the Holocaust, True Seeker. With regards to 114, World War sums to 114. Holocaust sums to 114. With Pythagorean, it sums to 33, with S exception 42. And so does Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor equals 114. All hoaxes. World War, hoax. Holocaust, hoax. Pearl Harbor, hoax. NBA Finals, hoax. And why? Because it's all ran by these Zionist Jews who are in control of the media, who are in control of the outlets, who are in control of the money. That's why there's a pyramid, an all-seeing eye on the money, because money gets people to do things they otherwise would never do, such as rob their neighbor. Something that happened to me not that long ago. I got robbed by my sorry-ass neighbor, guy who goes to church every Sunday, human piece of shit. Why? Because he's jealous, because he wanted some money that he couldn't earn himself. Anyway, we just talked about Drew Carey's life numbers. Look at the owners of David Blatt, the Jew coach for the Cavs, born May 22nd, 1959, almost the exact same birthday. Life number of 33, also the other way, 86. Just like symbol, just like triangle, like pyramid. And also like the NBA Finals, which were named in 86. See how it all syncs up? This team has a Jew owner, but that's common. Most of the teams have Jew owners. Daniel Gilbert, the Jew owner, sums to 64, just like the day the finals began. And also I want to point out that today's game is on a Thursday. It's June 11th. Look at gematria of Thursday. It sums to 116. Today is June 11th. In Europe, they'll write that 11/6. Here we'll write it 6/11. See what happens in today's game. If anybody scores 116 points, just remember this. Further evidence of the scripting. But that's pretty much the extent of the message. There's a lot coded into these scores. From what's going on in sports, to what's going on in culture, to what's going on in shooting hoaxes. This shooting syncs up with the Tamir Rice hoax, and LeBron James has been speaking out about the Tamir Rice shooting a little bit here and there. So, hope it all makes sense. Hope you're seeing the picture. Hope you're figuring out how fake these sports are, how by the numbers they are, why they're this way. We have to throw out these gang of Zionist Jew punk losers. Just look at this guy. Every time I look at this guy, it makes me cringe. Adam Silver. Look at this guy. What the fuck? He looks like a space alien, True Seeker. He is the definition of not basketball. Before it was a little tiny punk, David Stern, another man who I couldn't stand. They had to replace him with this Jew punk. Jews are the filth of this world, True Seeker. They really are. And they've taught the rest of this world to be filth just like them. Alright, until next time.